everybody. This is Caroline Sotheby, and welcome to Up, Down, and Around Town. Hope you had a nice Easter. At least the weather wasn't too bad, right? But anyway, there's another week already going, and I got to mention, because Neil mentioned to me, April is Volunteer Month, and I'm thinking, wow, we have a lot of volunteers here. We had some that have been with us for many years, but I gotta get this fellow here because COVID actually got us together, because we went out on the road with your camera and your editing skills. And what happened there?
I think it was before COVID, because let me tell you, let's go way back to the beginning, how I got involved volunteering for Wyandotte Cable. Okay. I think it was the previous studio director put an ad in the News Herald for volunteer positions for the cable. I came, and that was I think it was in the fall of 2018. I came, I took, and you guys had offered a little course on how to do studio productions, how to do the cameras and stuff like that. I did that, and I've been volunteering ever since. Now, volunteering, a lot of people don't think about volunteering. Throughout my adult life, I've always volunteered, because what started it when I was like 18 years old, I did a year of service to the diocese, where I volunteered and went to different churches to do whatever they needed. And I think it was really important to do that at that age, because it showed me how important it was to volunteer. Now, when you volunteer, you're volunteering for an agency. Basically, you're working for free. That agency is benefiting. However, you are benefiting when you volunteer that you can't even imagine. You're getting free training. Depending on what the topic is, depending on where you're volunteering, to gain that very same information, you would have to go somewhere to pay. For example, my volunteering at Wyandotte Cable, Wyandotte Connex, has helped me, because it's been like editing boot camp.
Yeah.
If you look at what I was editing before I walked through that door and how I can edit now, there is a marked difference. And I now have a marketable skill where I can go somewhere and get a job editing because of what I've done here. And now during COVID, that was a very special time, because they closed the studio down. You were ready to throw in the towel, because how are we going to do this show without a studio? And I said, well, I got a camera. I know how to edit. Let's just go do the show. That was the best experience for me, because it really taught me what I learned. How can I say this? I learned what I didn't know that I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, that was like, I went through a lot of YouTube tutorials and stuff like that, and really learned how to edit. And I benefited so much from doing that.
I think one thing, too, with us being on the road, you were unfamiliar with a lot of spots in Wyandotte. And this gave you a chance. I mean, how many times did we go in back the boat thing, or the riverside, or the museum, or things that, wow, I didn't realize.
I now know where every single Veterans Memorial statue is in Wyandotte. I've been to every one of them, and every church, too.
Yeah. But, before the end of this program, we're going to have the dedication, the third annual dedication at the Vietnam Memorial from last Friday. But we figured you're on a time clip right now, and we want to get people familiar of how many volunteers have gone through this place for many years. As a matter of fact, Dan Mowers is still there. Barb's still there. I'm still there. Occasionally, you might get Kevin and Lori coming in. Uh, Gee, but you also introduced a couple more because you finally
I've
got
been
into
roping
it.
them off the streets. That's what I've been doing. From me volunteering here, it's really, really been a good experience for me. I've shared that with other people. They now have become volunteers
Yep.
themselves for Wyandotte Conics. The poets, I was doing I also do the Downriver Council for the Arts. I do their show here. So I'm down there constantly. From there, I met the poets. I said to the poets, I said, hey, why don't you come down and do a poet show? We can shoot it in the studio. We've been doing that now for a couple years. And now I'm to the point where people are starting to come to me and saying, hey, what's going on down there at City Hall? How do I take and get in and do a show and stuff like that? And I'll explain to them, I'll put them in touch with Joel and Neil and get them started. And, you know, this is if people knew what a resource this was, you know, I mean, if you have a business in Wyandotte, you've got a place, literally a studio right here where you can do a show about your business or highlighting the topic that your business, what kind of business it is or it serves and stuff like that.
Well, one example, you brought on the on Town Show the yoga gal, and if you have been watching, she'll be going into her third week.
Her third month, yes, we are, and I'm gonna a little plug. Yoga 360. The show is here on Wyandotte Cable. You can watch it, a monthly show that airs weekly. It's a very good show. The unique part about and I'm gonna plug it. I'm gonna plug it right now. I have no shame. The unique part about this show is that if you know nothing about yoga, you can watch this show and you can follow along at home in the privacy of your own living room or wherever you watch your TV. And if you have any interest in yoga whatsoever, I would definitely recommend that you watch that show because it's going to guide you through all the steps and stuff like that. So I definitely do want to plug that show.
And she's a local gal, and when the weather gets nice, they usually go and have a whole group in front of the City Hall out there. So, yeah, it's one way of saying, yeah, if I can do this, and gee, maybe I can. And who knows?
And another thing I want to say about volunteering is that when you move into a new town, you're away from your family, you're away from your friends, you don't know anybody. Now, working in TV production, I've taken jobs in different cities where I've had to move and stuff like that. The first thing I do is find a nonprofit organization that I can volunteer for. Because if you want to make friends, volunteering is the best way to do it because it sort of screens people for you. If somebody is volunteering, they've got their life together, they don't have any problems or not. Well, I mean, they have day-to-day stuff, but not like major problems or stuff like that. And they're people that are giving back. So that right there says a lot about those people. So oftentimes, I've gone and volunteered for agencies. I've made friends that I've had literally for 30 years that I met while I was volunteering. You don't want to go to a bar or I mean, it's possible that you could go to a bar and meet good people. I'm not throwing any shade at bars, but volunteering for an organization, the screening is already done for you. And, you know, these are people that you can get to know and trust and become friends with. You know, and I've done that. I've done that for years.
And of course, being connected with a DCA, they have many different facets going on in that building. I know the address, 81 Chestnut, and I like your picture of the building out front. That looks sharp. We also were connected with the library. You were at one point, and I sort of once in a while get there.
And we did a show for the library.
Yeah.
I want to go back over there and say hi and see what they're doing. I understand right now they've got some activities going on with the eclipse.
Yep. That's going to be on the 8th, and last week I had it on the show where they were giving out at least 2 of the glasses that you can use. They're saying that if you come after 2, but at 3:14 is when you can see the glimpse of the eclipse on the lawn. So that's one thing that they were having. And right now, another thing, the fire department is going to be there on the 4th and giving information on health or safety information for seniors, and that's at 11 o'clock. In case you want to go, that's the 4th, which is Thursday, right? Yeah, okay. So they give a lot of information out, and they need a little plug too, because they're doing a lot of things with different groups of people.
This is Volunteer Month?
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you something. The city of Wyandotte is a hotbed for volunteering opportunities. You've got several agencies that you can volunteer for. But the thing is, you're going to walk away with something. You're going to benefit from volunteering at that agency. I volunteered here. It taught me how to edit. It taught me a lot. I didn't know. I volunteered for other organizations and have walked away with something. Volunteering for the Downriver Poets and Playwrights, it's given me a better understanding and educated me. I mean, I now know what a stanza is, you know. I have a limited knowledge of poetry that I didn't have before. So anytime you volunteer, sure, you're giving of yourself, you're not getting paid, you're doing it for free, but you're walking away with something. You're gonna have a skill, or you're gonna have some type of knowledge that you're able to walk away with. So.
Or sometimes it's just getting to know a person, that have a companion or something else besides what they're doing at that point. They might have similar likes if it comes to sports, if it comes to music, if it comes to watching programs. I mean, it can go from that one spot. So anyway, yeah, that's why we're thinking about let's feature maybe a couple shows this month on, because there are a lot of things happening. And Dan Mowers was one. He's still doing Sportsline, and Neil got some of the programs from Waterfest, and that's when Barb and Jack and Dan and I were on the Portofino outside watching the boats go by. That was an experience that Leslie Lupo was a community director at the time. And if you look through what we had, almost 7 or 8 years of those years, and he'll probably be featuring some of that on Remember When. So it's nice to go back in time and see who was there, what they did, what we looked like, what we were doing, and how it's progressing till now. Yesterday, some of you people know, I have Local Sports Wrap-Up. That's the oldest one. That's 40 years this year. Different sportscasters. But Marty thought, hey, it's April Fool's Day. I want to do something different. And I'm thinking, oh boy, you know, you let somebody else take over and But we did it, and this is the end part.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots as the credits roll. And thanks for watching. We will see you next week. Happy April Fool's Day, everyone. And I hope everyone had a great Easter. We'll see you in a week. Hi, Mom. Hope you had fun with this.
Okay, all right. So what would you like to finish with? Because you have to go someplace.
Well, what I would like to finish with is something very important. Now, this is Volunteer Appreciation Month. We're focusing on volunteers, but you are one of the most dedicated volunteers I've ever met in my life. I'm right now, I am sitting on probably the oldest cable show in the United States. I mean, you've got an exemplary record of volunteering. You've been doing it for over 30 years. You pretty much set the standard when it comes to volunteering. You really have, and you've been relentless in providing accuracy and knowledge that you can take to the bank. If I see something on your show, I trust you. I know it's a fact, and you can take it to the bank. You've been your pursuit for accuracy. What you have delivered has been exemplary for any volunteer ever. I mean, you've just set the standard so high. You really have.
Oh, thank you. I guess I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and it's nice to have people like us that we can associate with and rely on. I mean, that's important too. The timing, the idea of, hey, I'm going to be here to do audio, or gee, do you need me to do camera? And we need volunteers. It's true. A lot of them had passed away. We were looking through the old ones and said, wow, we can remember when El Varga was doing the vacuuming of the rug before local sports wrap-up and that. So I know we have to go. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And keep up the good work.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. And like we said before, the Vietnam ceremony took place last Friday. There was a third one. I just gave you a little bit of it, just to give you an idea what goes on every year. They have a lot of participation. They had the Southgate ROTC group. They had people in from Canada. And hey, let's go to that, all right?
Good afternoon, everybody. And for all you veterans, welcome home. This is our third ceremony down here in Wyandotte, and we love every minute of it. I'm glad to see we got a good crowd this year, being as the weather is so nice. Somebody get his license plate. As you can see in the middle of the street is the Southgate High School Junior ROTC. And each one of them has a flag of the branch of service of the United States. Sorry, Canada. If you would like, you're more than welcome to walk over to your flag and stand there instead of standing in a bunch of crowds. You gotta leave the students alone though. All right. Look at the Army, look at the Marines, and look at the Air Force. Okay. Do we have any women veterans here? If you're a women veteran, please step forward. Put your hand up. Right here, Mike. There she is. Welcome home. Men, uncover. Please bow your heads and pray with me. Father of us all, in the depth of our silent reverence, we realize the truth of the inspired words. I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. As comrade after comrade departs, we march on with our ranks growing thinner. Help us to be faithful unto thee and to one another. Look with mercy on the surviving spouses, children, family members, friends, and comrades of our departed heroes. We beseech thee, and with thine own tenderness, console and comfort those who are bereaved. Heavenly Father, bless our country, our state, and our city with freedom, peace, and righteousness. Through thy favor, may we meet at last before thy throne in heaven. We praise thy great and holy name forever and ever. Amen.
Our home and gracious land, true patriot love in all our hearts demand. With growing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God grant our land, keep it glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Our American National Anthem, sung by Tracy Kirkendall.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And then the program continued. Well, we have a short time now. Since some people did a little research, let's go back to Waterfest to show you some other volunteers who worked there at that time.
Well, hello everyone. I tell you what, we're down here to Portofino for the 8th year in a row, getting ready for the boat show. It's almost approaching us. We're looking for the leader of the Coast Guard boat, Dan Mowers. I'm Jack Sotheby. We just got through listening to Barb and Caroline tell us a little bit what went on, and I'll tell you what, Dan and I, we had a lot of fun today, didn't we, Dan?
Oh yeah, we were down
Checking
there.
all the chilly stuff out there.
Yeah, the boat from Bayliner, meeting Mark, very nice fellow, and we also started up our local sports show this weekend.
I tell you, it's a really a long day, but it's a lot of fun. We start out like about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, go through the whole Waterfest, and Dan and I do a local sports wrap-up. This is always the opening weekend for that. And plus the fact Dan went down and you saw a little bit of him from about 4 o'clock on or so doing the decorations of the boat.
Oh yeah, they had a lot going on down there, Jack. They had a Waterfest run that they sponsored.
Okay, that was some Waterfest time. Maybe another week we'll give you a little bit more. But anyway, it's time to go. See you. Take care. See you next time on Up, Down, and Around Town. Bye-bye now.